Welcome to Nikki Speaks TV, you guys. My name is Nikki, and I'm so excited to have you join me on my next season of episodes, the Relationship Series. Welcome to Nikki Speaks TV, the Relationship Series. The pandemic forced us all to slow down and do an assessment of our relationships. Whether you're dating, engaged, married, or divorced, we'll share tools to help everyone. Join me this season as my guest and I talk about all things relationships. Today, I have a special guest in studio, all the way from Killeen, Texas, my sister, LaQuita Monley. She is a woman of God. She's a speaker. She's a life coach. She's an author. Well, welcome. I'm so glad to finally meet you. I know we've been following each other on social media. That's a new way to meet people nowadays, right?
It is. It's a way to make some good connections on social media, but it is really, really, really good to meet you as well. Had a little bit of an adventure, but hey, we made it.
Life is nothing but that, right?
It is. It is.
So tell the audience a little bit about you, what you do, and how you help the world.
Well, I wear a lot of hats, as most women do. If I to describe myself, I am a wife, proud military spouse, a mom, and a grandmother. Those are the three things right now that add the most value to my life. Now, because of those roles and life experiences, those have enabled me to become a minister of the gospel, as well as a independently certified John Maxwell speaker, coach, trainer, and facilitator. I mean,
we know him, right?
We do, and it's such a blessing to be able to be a part of that John Maxwell team. However, even I was speaking with someone last night. I don't think that I would be as effective as I am as a minister of the gospel and a coach had I not first wore those hats as Army wife and mom. Those challenges really produce a lot of resiliency.
Right. To say the least,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, tell us what you do is in terms of how you help other people that may be on a journey similar to yours.
So predominantly, I love to work with women, mostly because I am one, but it's an area where I'm comfortable. And so in an area where I can recognize some things within some ladies that they have not yet recognized in themselves, because that's exactly how my journey started.
Wow.
I was 25 and did not realize that I had no idea who I was. And once I realized that, but at age 25, I was already a mother of 5.
Okay.
And had been a wife for a number of years and a military spouse. And it's like, well, how do I not know who I am? And so that really is where my passion is, working with wives, mothers, whether they're single parents or married, to help them identify their places of courage, destiny, and power.
I love it.
And, and we do that, whether it's, whether they're following me on social, or whether they're tuning into my podcast, LaQuita's Toolbox, or if they partner with me as their coach or in one of my masterminds or speaking engagement. For me, it's really all about giving back value to people that women of God gave to me in the time where I didn't even know I needed it.
Wow. And so many of us, I feel like as women, we, go through different seasons. And I like how you said it. We wear so many different hats. Sometimes it's hard to find balance. What do you think the key to balance is?
For me, I realized that balance is really what we make it. It's an individual choice, right? So what I feel balance is, or what you feel balance is, could be two totally different things. So I cannot mimic my life after anyone else's life. I have to first figure out, okay, who is LaQuita? What makes me happy? What are the things that cause my home to operate at its most fulfilling capacity.
Right.
Once I realized that, and then put those in the order of priority. So balance for me, because I am married, balance for me may mean, currently my husband's working out of country. So I can't look to him for a lot of things. So my balance and how things are working in my home right now, I may tell you my schedule and you're like, oh, no, I'm good.
Right?
So it really comes down to, you have to know yourself before you can even begin to figure out what balance is, and stop comparing yourself with other people.
That part, comparison addiction, I call it.
Yes. And even I found that even with me, I can no longer compare myself to the person that I once was. What I felt like were past successes or past victories, I can't do that anymore, because who I am right now in this moment,
It's changing.
it's changing. It's ever evolving, and it's not bad. It's not wrong. It is. And so let me accept it and learn how to flow with it. And that's what balance means. So it's giving everything what it needs, when it needs it, in a way that feels healthy for you.
I like it. I like that you say that, because it's more of an individual thing. You know, so many people look to see what you're doing, what I'm doing, what other people are doing, and compare themselves and try to do that. You said something that's really, I think is key, is knowing yourself. How important do you think it is to love yourself and discover self-love, and how do you do that?
That's the foundation. That is the foundation. And for me and for my clients, it starts with, okay, who am I and what do I like? Why do I like it? You know, why am I here? Asking yourself those qualifying questions, those questions that require some thought.
Right.
And it won't happen overnight.
I was about to say, it's not a fast thing.
It's not a fast process, right? It's not a fast process. And I suggest to my clients that's something, you pick whatever your best time of the day is, where you feel you're most productive and have a clearer head.
Right.
For me, that's early in the morning, and that piece of paper and something to write with is there. And I'm journaling in my quiet time of meditation. And that usually is where the long journey starts, because the way that our current culture is designed, there's so much noise. It's so much noise, so many distractions, to where even you're laying down at night and you're saying, okay, LaQuita, well, it's quiet in my space, but is it quiet in here?
Right.
You know, there's a difference, right? Just because it's quiet in my space doesn't mean it's quiet in here. And what are the things that I can do to calm my mind and still my mind? You know,
what have you found or discovered? I
found that for me, it's I'd use this app, different meditation apps.
Calm app.
Yeah. And it's all about, you know,
quieting the mind.
Quieting the mind. I found that, you know, classical music does it for me. I don't care what I'm doing, what's going on. If I need to find a still place in my mind, I'm a believer. And so I love Christian music, but I can't use that because I'm singing the song.
Oh, I like that. Yep. So.
I'm singing the song, so I'm still not quiet.
Right.
In my mind. It's still moving and active and going. But when I'm listening to that classical music, or like you said, that calm app,
right,
that settles my spirit. It settles my mind. It's like, it gives me, and it's progressive, and it's not instant.
Right.
It takes me down levels to where, okay, now I can think clearly. Now I can keep a thought together, or even if I'm trying to concentrate and work on something.
Just have it playing in the background.
Just have it playing.
Have you heard of Hertz music? I listen to that sometimes.
I haven't, but I'm going to look it up.
Just like the rental car, Hertz. But it's good. It's vibrational music, and it does the same thing. It just gives you a greater sense of calm. Thanks for connecting with us today. Nikki Speaks Therapy is a platform that focuses on sharing tips, tools, and strategies to help you have a healthier and happier life. Follow us at NikkiSpeaksTherapy.com to stay up to date on all Nikki Speaks events. I'm so glad you're here. So many people are going through with, marriages, especially during COVID. What would you say is a tip that you would give a couple that may be going through, wanting to love like never before, feeling some limits and limitations? What's the key to a healthy relationship? Help us all.
So it has to be communication, right? Okay. It has to be communication and connection.
I love that.
My
staying
husband,
connected,
and
right?
Staying connected. What does connectivity mean for you guys? Again, I'll take it back to, just our current culture or society. Pre-COVID was all about go, 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 do. And people who had never
slowed us down.
It slowed us down, right? Like the issue would happen. Not that I don't want to deal with it, but we can't seem to map out the time to deal with it. And then after a while, it doesn't matter.
Right.
And you think it's done.
Right.
And it's not done. And COVID says, oh no.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It's not done, and let's deal with it. Finding that way to communicate in a healthy way, but yet still being connected. So a large time of COVID, my husband and I were not in the same country, but that did not mean conflict didn't happen.
Oh, okay.
That did not mean conflict didn't happen. So
you're human, right?
We're human, right? You know, a FaceTime argument is a thing that can happen.
Right, right.
So learning how to communicate. And one of the things that we did, and I would suggest for couples to do if you have not, take a personality exam.
Mm-hmm.
Find
5
out
love languages.
The 5 love languages, because just because your love language is one thing and how you receive love does not mean that that's your significant other's love language. And we can only speak from the language that we know.
Right.
So one of the things as a John Maxwell coach, I have the ability to give a DISC assessment. Those are real interesting. So, and finding out, and you're probably partnered with your polar opposite.
Isn't that interesting?
It is, right? And just taking those, whether you're doing DISC, whether you're doing scope, whatever you're doing, look at the way that person communicates and figure out, okay, it's not an attack against me.
Right.
It's just the way they communicate. They're not really a jerk. It's just the way that they communicate.
Yeah.
You know, they're not passive.
Don't take it personal.
Don't take it personal, and figure out what are the optimal ways to learn how to communicate with your significant other. And when that communication piece gets better and better, intimacy comes in. And then you no longer relate intimacy to sexual intercourse, even though sometimes that may be the goal.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that being the goal.
Right.
But in order to get a more fulfilling time with having sex with your partner, you need to have a time where you feel intimate with your partner. And that all starts, the conversation all starts in our ability to effectively communicate with one another and what that looks like.
Absolutely.
LaQuita Monley invites you to join her brand new mastermind Thursday, February 24th at 7 p.m. Central. You can go to LaQuita's Toolbox at lendingthebest.com to register now. Connecting is more skill than natural talent. Everyone communicates, few connect. Connect beyond words with thought, emotion, and action with LaQuita Monley.
So you lead your clients through that process of rediscovering themselves.
Yeah, you have to rediscover yourself. Like who I was as a 25-year-old woman, as a 35-year-old woman, now as a 45-year-old woman.
I got you beat by a couple years.
I'm not
forever young.
Yeah, we get better with age, right?
Yes, yes.
But we're different women.
Oh yeah,
right. Our significant others, they're different individuals as well. So accept that growth, accept that maturity, and figure out, okay, this is where we are in life right now. What makes us happy? You know, what are the things that we want to do and explore? And even if they're the complete opposites, what can we do to enjoy each other in that time? And being locked together with COVID, you either had a couple of choices, and you're in a healthy relationship. Let me specify a healthy relationship.
Yes.
In that healthy, right? In that healthy relationship, you either grew distant because you discovered we don't know each other anymore.
Right.
Or you became intentional.
Right.
To rediscover each other. And now we have a lot of COVID babies.
Yeah.
Some people got some real good intentions.
Went down in history.
Yes.
So speak to a potential client that may really be struggling right now. They're just going through and, maybe multiple areas of their life. What encouragement will you give them or can you give them during this season?
Yes. So life happens. This too shall pass. Let's set aside some time to think about and write out what's going good, what's going bad, and put it in priorities. And we can't, in our sessions, we can't attack everything in each session.
Right.
But let's look at the things that are most important to you, and we're going to hone in on those things.
I love it.
in each session, and we'll do our best to walk away with it, because the goal is, what do you want to accomplish in this session? Not the complete fix of your life, but in this session, what is it? What work do we need to do? And know that that work is going to be within you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. I love it. I know you have a book that just came out. So let's talk about that as we close. Share it with us.
So right now I have, I'm a co-author in an anthology called When Women Rise, Confident Women.
Awesome.
And it's a collaboration of different authors talking about some of the things we've overcome in our life to get to the space where we consider ourselves confident women. In my particular area, I chose to deal with marriage.
Okay, interesting.
On the outside, we have like the textbook love story. Met my husband in high school, long time ago.
Okay.
Became teenage parents. He chose the military. We went off and we lived happily ever after. There's a lot of stuff in the middle.
Okay.
And with this, in my chapter, I talk about how we as individuals, men and women, we enter into marriage with preconceived ideas.
I call them unspoken expectations.
Yes.
You don't find them out until an argument happens.
We have those unspoken expectations. Well, where did they come from? Who put them there? Oftentimes, we don't even realize ourselves. And for me, my unspoken expectation was I wanted the ideal Cosby family.
Right.
Didn't realize that.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
especially as African American.
Yes,
yeah, and that too.
And it's not that it's a bad thing, right? But it did cause some issues in an argument. My husband says, "We're not the Cosbys. This is real life," and so I had to begin to take a hard look at what a successful marriage means to me, and where did I get that idea from, and how could we now begin to craft that into something more realistic for the Monleys. Yeah.
Well, I'm excited. So when does your book come out?
My personal book comes out in March.
Yay.
It's called Redefining Success.
Okay.
It's all about, it's 8 keys, 8 powerful tools that I've learned along the way that help me to reshape what success means to me in every area of my life.
Awesome. Well, tell the audience how to find you, follow you, and purchase a book.
So, follow me on social. It's really easy. All of my social, if you go out to Google, just Google LaQuita Monley, and on Twitter, YouTube, IG, as well as on LinkedIn. I'm really active on LinkedIn. You can follow me there to get more updates on when to expect Redefining Success to come out, what date it's going to come out in March. If you want to reach me and say, okay, LaQuita, I got a question, just hit me in my DMs. I am the person that responds. So, yeah.
Thank you guys for joining today's episode. I hope you loved it. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment and let us know how it helped you. See you next time. Thank you all for joining my show today on Nikki Speaks TV, the Relationship Series. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter. Don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube, or you can visit me at nikkispeakstherapy.com. See you next time.